he became an elephant in his next life. So when in the form of elephant he went with his wives and children to take bath in the river, crocodile caught hold of his foot. So out of pain, he started remembering. And then see, the effect of the spiritual subjects is such, even one word from any shloka one remembers, then that cognitive memory and then the subconscious level memory starts working. In the whatever previously the person has learned, those things also manifest. Just only one shloka I remembered, and when he saw Lord Hari, he came on Garuda. Then so many prayers he remembered. He remembered his previous life. So yes, so there is never any loss. Even as I said, at conscious level we don't remember, not to worry about that. But that doesn't mean that we should not make an attempt to memorize things.
So you had asked about the Hanuman thing. The reason why I said that we should continue the Bhagavatam is because there are going to be so many things that come up in between, and then we are never going to finish the book.
Not a problem.
I think we should finish the book, then take up.
So I told that person that tomorrow online that session is there. So that's based on Hanuman Katha, so she can attend that. Yeah. Okay, so we start that now with the mantra. We chant together. Take a deep breath in. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Now recap. So what were we discussing in the previous session of the Bhagavatam? We started third canto, right? So what particular topic we were having discussion on? Vidura? Can you be more precise? Maitreya Muni.
Tell him about all the glories of Sri Krishna.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. There's a lot that Maitreya Muni tells him. So I don't remember all of it. There was
yes, you're right. Yes. So the conversation between Maitreya Muni and Vidura. Now, why was Maitreya Muni, he was chosen to give that knowledge to Vidura? Vidura himself also was very learned, Krishna's devotee, right? So what made Vidura meet Maitreya Muni? Does anyone remember? Why did the Vidura leave Hastinapur? Correct, correct. That's the apparent reason. That's the apparent reason. Sorry? Yeah, he did not want to fight, but what was the... Correct, correct. Yes. Yes. And Krishna, as I said, Krishna was more concerned about him than Bhishma Dev, Dronacharya, Ashwatthama, and Karna. Because he knew that they will not kill Pandavas. They can defeat them, but Vidura will go to all extent, all the way to kill them, because he was so loyal and very objective. In his behavior, he was very objective. So Krishna was more concerned about him. And that's why this situation was created. He felt so insulted. Vidura felt so insulted that he left. Right? So then he went on. There were two individuals who did not participate in the battle. Vidura and Balaram. Balaram also went, visited places of pilgrimage. Now see, one part is that conversation between Maitreya Muni and Vidura. And who has been narrating all these incidents? Again, there are two situations. Sorry? Shukdev Goswami is narrating to Parikshit Maharaj. Another situation, other location at Naimisharanya Tirtha.
The one who was given to 1,000.
Sutta Goswami. Sutta Goswami.
Hmm?
Sutta Goswami.
Yes, absolutely.
88,000
88,000 sages. 88,000 sages headed by Shaunaka Rishi. Correct? So, when Lord Balaram, he was visiting places of pilgrimage, at one place when he went, Roma Harshana sage, very great sage, he was sitting on the Vyasasana and he was giving discourse. So, when Lord Balaram arrived there, everybody, all other sages, they got up out of respect towards Lord Balaram. But Roma Harshana did not. He was so proud of his knowledge and he was sitting at the Vyasasana. So he thought, that it's an insult of Vyasasana also if I get up and. But the purpose, the objective of his discourses was to attain the Lord. And Balaram is not different from Krishna, right? Expansion of Krishna. So when Balaram saw that, Balaram killed him. Yes, killed him. Because he thought that, see, now he did not kill because he did not get any respect. Because he thought, what kind of example Roma Harshana is going to set. See, these highly elevated, so personalities like Godhead, they don't do anything whimsically. There's some higher purpose behind whatever they do. Even when they kill someone, it's not because they are so angry personally with them. There is no personal motive. The objective is higher. So that's a different story. When we come to that part, or in Bhagavatam, I will tell you. So Suta Goswami was Roma Harshana's son. Now, in our scriptures, it is said that in Sindhi, all of you understand Sindhi, right? There is a saying, दात नाय जातते जो वह सो लहे. What does it mean? What's the meaning of dat? Huh? Yes. So it doesn't depend on the high birth. It depends on the person who endeavors, he deserves. Dat naay zat. Zat means, high birth, right? Any kind of ethnic group. It doesn't depend on birth. Jo vah hai, that means person who endeavors, puts efforts. So lahe.
It comes to that person.
Yes. So that means that person receives that, achieves that. So Suta Goswami, I think in one of the sessions I mentioned about what class Suta Goswami belonged to. In Mahabharata, Karna was called as Sutaputra, right? That means low class. In India, particularly in Mumbai, I don't know other parts of India, the carpenters, they are called Sutar, low class people. Labor class, not low labor class people, right? So Suta Goswami also was not from any Brahmin family. But he was respected by Shaunaka Rishi, who was a head of all Brahmin community, because of his qualification. Because Suta Goswami was very dear disciple of Vyasadeva himself. So because he acquired the knowledge, and because of his knowledge, not only he heard, he listened, he assimilated that knowledge. That's very important, assimilation. And then put it into practice. Otherwise, it's like a parrot, lip service. Many experts do that. But Suta Goswami was that. Because of his qualification and because of his personality, he was respected. So Shaunaka Rishi biologically also was very senior compared to Suta Goswami. But still when he came, then he got up to welcome him. So Suta Goswami is narrating. And where did Suta Goswami hear? Where did he hear from? No. He heard from Shukadeva Goswami. When Shukadeva Goswami was narrating the incidents of Bhagavatam, Suta Goswami was present there. So he heard. At that time, their memory was very sharp. They did not have any mobile phones, computers or something. And even no notebooks to note down the notes. Memory was very sharp. And See the what it is mentioned in scriptures. The narrator, the speaker, he should be representative of his guru. What does it mean? Representative. That means he should represent as he has learned without mental concoction. He can add his realization, but not speculation. So that's the quality of a disciple, a shishya. One of the meaning they say shishya means, the who's shish. He retains all the knowledge what he has learned from his guru, shishya. And because he always bow downs, he puts his sheesh at the feet of guru, he becomes qualified, more purified and qualified.
But in Hinduism, it's said that the scriptures fall under different categories, right? So the ones like Shruti and Smriti, right? So the ones which are everybody's own version. So if a disciple is listening from his guru, then when he's teaching others and he adds to something which is not, I don't know, the ones that are not heard, like the Vedas, then is it considered incorrect?
Yeah.
It's still incorrect.
Now the Smriti part,
Yeah.
that also belongs to Shruti. Because without hearing, how can you memorize something?
But everybody
Shrot.
has their own, like the Bhagavad Gita. Everybody's, interpretation of it is different, right?
Yes, interpretation may be different, but see, as long as the central idea is not lost, essence is not lost, then it's acceptable. Now, interpretation also, again, what the two words are very important. If interpretation is based on person's self-realization, is acceptable. But mental speculation, not acceptable. So one has to, now self-realization, when it comes, realization comes, when we become more and more purified. Otherwise, we keep on speculating. Different interpretations will, mind is very tricky. So whatever interpretation, which is sprouting from our mind, not from the soul realization, that will change. That interpretation will change. But if the interpretation is based on realization, that will be very firm. And that's why if you read the interpretation by very senior devotees, it will be same. Of course, different interpretations, the information may be different, but they will not contradict. They will supplement each other. Scriptures also, they will not contradict. They supplement each other. If we properly understand, different information is given, but in what context? So if you understand the context, then we will understand, that though apparently it looks different sages are saying different things, but essence is the same. So coming back to this conversation between Maitreya Muni and Vidura. So I said why Maitreya Muni was chosen to give that knowledge. How that disciplic succession start? How did it start? Who did the Maitreya Muni learn from? Yes, you're right. Who is that cousin? Krishna's cousin? Uddhav. Right? Now Uddhav knew Vidura also. Uddhav also knew Vidura. But he did not directly speak to Vidura. And he knew that Vidura will be visiting that place. Now, to give glories, to give credit to Maitreya Muni, Uddhav gave that knowledge to Maitreya Muni. And then Maitreya Muni gave that knowledge to Vidura. So these are in Vaishnavism, we see, these kind of etiquettes are followed. Because gurus, they will not go, look for, name, fame, popularity. If the other person's service is required at this point, let that person do the service. And I'll just stay back. Because that awareness is there, after all, whatever knowledge I have in this body is not going to last. Right? Eventually I have to leave this body. So that name and fame also will be temporary. So why should I run for that temporary things? Does it make sense? So the gurus were like that. So Uddhava did not wait for Vidura. He gave the knowledge to Maitreya Muni, and Maitreya Muni spoke to Vidura.
And Vidura comes across with Uddhav first. years before he meets Maitreya.
Yes. And Uddhava also told him that I will not give you that knowledge. You go and approach Maitreya Muni. Because Vidura before also he knew. Not only that forest, he knew Vidura before also. Kauravas and Yadavas, they knew each other. So then he told him that, you go and meet Maitreya Muni. So the conversation started, right? Now, when Vidura met Maitreya Muni, see, the thing is that he did not go and complain, oh, Duryodhana did this to me, he's so bad and all that. No, nothing at all. These material subjects were not discussed. Because Vidura knew that, see, this also we need to understand, according to the qualification, caliber of the person, we need to deal with that person accordingly. So Vidura knew what's the caliber, what's the credibility of Maitreya Muni. So he asked him very relevant question because time factor is very important. Vidura said, very short period I have to meet him, so I should not waste discussing other unnecessary matters. Come to the point. So he put forward the questions starting with creation. Why did creation happen? How did it happen? How did it start? We talked about that also, right? Sorry? Yeah, so that comes little later. So before that, Maitreya Muni talks about Mahat Tattva. What's that Mahat Tattva? How did Mahat Tattva manifest? And what is the resemblance of Mahat Tattva in the material world?
Ego.
Brahma?
Manifestation, not manifestation actually, is part of that Mahat Tattva. What you said, Ganga, is part of Mahat Tattva. The resemblance of Mahat Tattva is ego in the material world. And ego also, there are 3 dimensions. Before that, 2 aspects of ego and then 3 dimensions of the ego. What are the 2 aspects of ego? Hmm?
Anything to do with identification?
Yes, identification. So 2 aspects of identification. What are the 2 aspects of identification?
I and mine. You and my mind.
Now we say, see, whenever we give our introduction to somebody else based on our material status, so that's called false ego, right? Now, if we say false ego, then there must be real ego also, right? So, what's our real ego? What's our real identification? We are Atma, part and parcel of the Supreme Spirit, correct? So, that's our real ego. False ego in the material world, when it comes, it is affected by 3 modes of material nature. So, these are the 3 aspects, 3 dimensions of false ego in the material world: mode of goodness, mode of passion, and mode of ignorance. Now, that, see, our scriptures don't say that, that false ego is not important. That also important, because at least we will know that who we are in the society, right, in the creation. The problem happens, we become so attached to that false ego, our status, then we start identifying what we are. Then we mistake, instead of seeing who we are, we start focusing on what we are. So when we becomes too attached to that kind of identification, that becomes the cause of our entanglement. But if we know who we are exactly, that's our real ego, that can help us to get liberated. And we get so entangled, you might have heard, many people might have heard, people, because they focus so much on what we are, the status, when that occupation is gone, they feel lost. No purpose of life, right? Businessmen, when they retire, they cannot do business, feel lost. Then they go into depression, because that identity, actually misidentity, it was not the right identity they were holding on to. That's not the right thing. If they had remembered who they are, then that would not happen. Depression won't happen, because what we are, that's only part of our existence. It's not the whole thing of our existence. And that what we are, it keeps on changing, depending on the situation. But some people, they hold on to that, what we are. So scriptures teach us, just try to understand your real identity. You're not this body. And you're not, whatever the roles you're playing in the society. These roles also are very temporary. Right? So the real role, what we are supposed to play as a human being, as a servant of the Lord, that we don't focus on. So because we don't focus on that real role, these temporary roles keep on bothering us. Manu Chachavana. Right? It bothers us so much. See, because we don't hold on to our real ego, our self-esteem becomes affected. Then we need validation from what we are doing. We need admiration from people. And that keeps us going. And that kind of situation is not good. Because in that kind of situation, what happens if someone criticizes us immediately? Gone. Like, the air is taken off from the balloon. Person feels hopeless. So when we hold on to our real ego, who we are, then what we are will not affect us so much. Am I making sense here? So Vidura, he knew very well what is his real identity and what's the identity of Maitreya Muni. So he asked this question. So Maitreya Muni told them how this creation came into existence. Then false ego. Now this material creation, very wonderful thing Maitreya Muni told him. Material creation is caused, the creation is caused because of false ego of the living being. Living beings desire. Our desires are the cause for us to come here and stay here. As long as the desires are there, we will not be able to get liberated. Now, who can be desireless? Can anyone be desireless? So, what should we do then? If we cannot be desireless, then there is no hope.
We just have to have desire for the highest.
Sorry?
Our desire.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Our scriptures don't tell us, that don't have any desires. Spiritualize your desires. If our desires are for temporary material things, then we have to keep on taking these temporary bodies again and again. But when our desires are spiritualized, and then we work according to those desires, those permanent, eternal desires, then they can help us to go to the eternal world. They're no more coming back. Then have eternal form there. No more changing forms. The bodies keep on changing. The same body we are living in keeps on changing. From babyhood to childhood to adulthood to old age. So when the spiritual form is there, there is no change. That's eternal. So Maitreya Muni is telling him that these are the causes. Now initially he said that the elements. Now these desires to get fulfilled, substance is required. Right? So material objects are required for satisfying the desires. Now how to feel that our desires are being satisfied? What do we need to get that satisfaction? To acquire the objects, we need motor organs. Right? Then to relish, to feel the satisfaction, though the satisfaction may be very temporary, but to have that feeling, what do we need? Five senses, senses of perception. So Maitreya Muni is explaining to him, first, the universal elements came into existence. Space, air, fire, water and earth. Then corresponding to these elements, subtle elements, sound, taste, light, vision, right? So these things came into existence. And then senses. I want to ask you, what are the eyes? Which category the eyes belong to, fall into? Huh?
Light.
Light. Correct. But are really the eyes are the senses? The sense of vision is behind. This is the physical covering of that sense. This ears also, the sense of hearing is inside, right? Otherwise, you see so many blind people, they have the eyes, but the vision is not there. Correct? Sense of vision is not working. That's why they cannot see. Correct? So senses are subtle. These are sense organs. Correct? So then there are motor organs. Now, very interesting point in conversation between Maitreya Muni and Vidura, that comes in Ayurveda also. There are two senses which are kind of senses of perception as well as senses of action also. What are these two senses? Which work in both ways, sense of perception and sense of action. Tongue and the genitals. So when we are eating, when it tastes, the sense of perception. And we are talking, then sense of action. And genitals, also when we empty the bladder, the sense of action. But when it is engaged in the procreation activity, the sense of perception. So these subtle things were discussed between Maitreya Muni and Vidura. Then Vidura asked him that how did Brahma come into existence? How Prajapatis came into existence? And whether Prajapatis, they themselves did the procreation or they needed some help. Very interesting part Maitreya Muni is telling him. He said when these all elements they came into existence and the agitation happened. Agitation was caused by the desires of the living beings. It was not Lord Vishnu, it was not Mahavishnu who got created the agitation. Agitation was caused because of the desires of the living beings. Now from this we can understand, since time immemorial, we have been in this world. So sometimes people they ask, when did you start, when you start? No need to go into that discussion. It's waste of time. Focus more on how to get out of this. In scriptures, it is a time immemorial. Now, how can we go that level to the beginning? So many times devastation has happened. Partial devastation, complete devastation, so many times it has happened. And we have gone through all this in different forms. Different yugas, different kalpas. Right? And as I said, that this is Krishna's blessing. We don't remember. Forgetfulness also comes from him. And it's like a blessing. Right? I think I shared with you once the funny thing happened at ISKCON temple on Sunday evening, Bhagavad Gita discourse. So somebody asked, how can you say it's a blessing? Because people, they want to improve the memory. And you are saying that forgetfulness is blessing. So I said, supposing some of you remember that the person you are married to in this life, she was married to somebody else in the previous life. How would you feel? One man said, I would feel very happy. That means I am not the one who's being tortured. Somebody else went through that.
Somebody didn't really say that.
Sorry?
Did somebody really say
Really,
that in the
really in the temple.
ISKCON temple?
Yeah, we get many funny people. Really, everybody started laughing. I'm not making up this. Yeah. So yes, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says forgetfulness comes from him. So we don't remember. So we need to, Maitreya Muni is saying, for living beings, desires cause the creation. Otherwise, the Lord doesn't need to, because in the spiritual world, he's being served so nicely. Why does it create the material world? It's for the living beings who are not happy there. The analogy example is given of any any township, any city. The government is not interested to construct a prison house, right? But there are so many people, miscreant criminals, because because of their activities, the government has to create that. So they don't create disturbance for other normal citizens. So Krishna also doesn't want these miscreants. Now the question rises, because it is said that Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita that once someone comes back to me, he doesn't come to this material world. He gets moksha eternally. So then how come we are here? Why couldn't we stay there?
Because we probably went to not Vaikunth Lok, we went to Swarg Lok or somewhere else where you are thrown back. After doing good, you said you still have to come back, right?
Yes, of course, Swargaloka way to come back. See, now again, the answer is given. Since time immemorial, we have come here. Only now from here, when we go back, then we won't come back here. This also we discussed in one of the sessions, early sessions. The beginning, how it begins for us. What's the beginning? When we come to the material world, because the desire to come to the material world is fulfilled by Krishna. Because we want to lord over the energy, Krishna's energy there. Krishna said it's not possible here. If you want to become the master, ruler, go to the material world. I give you one Brahmaloka. And you become the in charge. You become the Brahma of that Loka. Control everything. Engineer. Topmost Loka you have. So we don't learn lesson at that stage. I gave you analogy, because all Lokas, they are round in shape. Correct? Earth also is round in shape. So these Lokas, when they are going in circles, right? Earth is also rotating around their axis. So the central point is called centrifugal force. It generates the magnetic force. So everything is attracted in the center then, right? Like example I gave you, we take a bowl, we put water in that. We put a stick and just circle, create some movement in the water. Water goes in circle, in the middle there's kind of a gravity there, right? Centrifugal force. In the bigger kind of ocean, we get whirlpool. Then big ships also go inside, correct? The water goes in circles and goes inside. So all lokas, this called
would like also like those that don't have Om in it in the beginning, you have to get like initiated from somebody to give you that mantra. But then if you do it as a bhakti, then that's okay. Like say for example, we do in Navratra, there's we follow like Durga Shaktapati or like any of the higher scripture. A lot of them don't have Om in it, right? They're quite deep Durga mantras. But if you do them as devotion, then they should be fine, right?
Yeah, see now here it's a very tricky point, technical
Yeah.
point. When we talk about that whatever activities we are doing, that's devotion.
Yeah.
So our activities to be defined as devotion, we have to become devotees.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So we are temporary devotees.
Yeah.
Right?
Temporary devotees, okay?
Correct?
Yeah.
We are temporary devotees, because we want both sides.
Yeah.
Right? Many times what happens, even devotion also we do because we want material benefits
Yeah. Yeah.
from
Okay.
Krishna, right?
Yeah.
So this is called Mishra Bhakti. It's mixed bhakti.
Okay.
It's not pure bhakti.
Okay.
So unless and until we reach to the pure bhakti, then the mantras also will not give us effect. Even though our mood may be different, it will not give us effect.
But if you're just doing you're just doing it not because of
Then it's fine.
purpose. There's no like
That's
I'm
fine.
reading this scripture so that Durga Mata can do something for me. You're
That's
just
fine.
reading it to
you're
the
not doing
best
it as a
of your
transaction.
ability,
Yes.
right? But they are so called the mantras that probably don't have the Om in it, and the ones that you are not so called initiated.
See, there are Vedot mantras.
Yeah.
For that, Upanayana ceremony is required.
Yeah.
Sacred thread is required.
Yeah.
In sacred thread also there are 3 threads, right?
Yeah.
There are different
Yes,
interpretations
yes.
here, correct? And Brahmagat is there,
Yeah.
the knot, Brahmagat. So when we have that, now ladies they don't wear the sacred
Yeah.
thread, but they get the Gayatri mantra. They get the Gayatri mantra initiation. No problem with that. And now in married women's case, then the husbands they wear the sacred thread for the wife's behalf, right? They wear 2 sacred threads. So coming back to that point. So without that sacred thread ceremony, Upanayana, what's the meaning of Upanayana? Extra vision, wisdom, right? Drishti person gets, Upanayana. So that knowledge, now Brahma also, how he got the knowledge? He did not read in scriptures. It was revealed in his heart. Correct? So that knowledge to be revealed in our heart, we need to have that level. We need to reach to that level. In the material world, when you take small children, small babies to get admitted in the kindergarten, some requirements are there.
Yeah.
So if that requirement is followed in the material world, why can't we follow that requirement for the spiritual activities? The requirements we follow for the material world in the material schools, which can be very entangling. But the subject which can liberate us, we are so casual about it. Then we talk about the rights, discrimination and all that. No, that's not discrimination. There's no discrimination. In the previous yugas, the gurus they were so careful before accepting someone as a disciple.
Yeah.
Because if something the disciple misuses the knowledge, guru also has to suffer. So they were very careful. When the British came and all that, they say, "Oh, this is superstitious thing, discrimination and all that," and they impose those kind of their kind of thought process. So that's a different subject. So coming back to our current subject. So the way Vidura asked the questions from Mahapuran, he told him, if you feel qualified, unqualified, then you impart that knowledge to him. Mahapuran said, there is no question, no doubt. You have met Krishna personally. And what was the reason that Vidura, when we discussed about his previous life, he was Yamaraj. He was cursed by the sage. He was powerful enough to counter the curse. He did not do that. He did not do that. Why did he do that?
He wanted to meet Krishna.
He
wanted to meet Krishna.
Yes, because he knew that around that time, because he was Yamaraj, right? He knew that around that time Krishna will come himself. So he wanted to get liberated. At that point, when we were discussing this particular topic about Vidura's previous life, I said, by Krishna's mercy, we are so fortunate, so fortunate. We are more fortunate than Yamadutas. You remember that?
Yeah.
Because Yamadutas did not know there is someone superior to their master, Yamaraj. Because when they were trying to pull out the soul from Ajami, Vishnu Dutas came to rescue. Then they were wondering, somebody superior to our master. And when they went and told Yamaraj about it, Yamaraj did the arti, offered arti. You're so fortunate that you saw my master's agents, servants.
Agents.
Yes,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah.
Of course. English word, servants. So these demigods also like his agents. They are his employees. So we are very fortunate. At least we know that someone is superior to Yamaraj. So Vidura did not want to counter that curse. He accepted very respectfully and took advantage of that. So see, this kind of situations also in the scriptures it is mentioned, when any highly qualified person curses also someone, that curse also becomes blessing in disguise. Narada Muni cursed so few people, they got liberated later on. So yes, apparently sometimes for a short period of time, that can create, the curse can create miserable situation, apparently. But the end result is so Vidura, as I said, he did not keep on complaining about what happened to him and all that. Then Maitreya Muni started telling him about the creation. So then he said the first person in the universe was born was Brahma. And then we had talked about, very briefly, we talked about the incarnation of Varahadev, right? Why did he appear as Varahadev?
Kill one of those brothers, right?
That happened later.
Yeah.
To
Varahadev
move
appeared
the
twice.
earth out of
Lift
the
the water.
lift the earth.
Correct,
Yeah.
correct. So because after Brahma was produced, I'm just fast forwarding, then Swayambhu Manu was there, correct? So then Brahma told him to produce children. So he said that where will my children live? There is no base. Earth was missing.
But Brahma wasn't a person. He was the first person to be born.
Brahma, Swayambhu. He born from the lotus flower. He started from the
But as
Garbhodaksha Vishnu.
as a god, as a
He's not a supreme god. He's demigod.
devil. So he's considered a person.
Yes, he's a person.
Still a jiva, right?
We talked about that also. Vishnu Tattva.
Not Brahman. Brahma.
Oh, Brahma. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
We talked about Vishnu Tattva,
Yeah.
Shiva Tattva, Jiva Tattva.
Yeah.
So Brahma is a Jiva. Shiva is beyond him. We can get promoted up to the level of Brahma. We cannot become even Shiva.
And you said, sorry, there are few, right? Shiva, Vishnu, like
Shakti.
Shakti.
just Shiva, Shakti, and Vishnu,
Yes.
right? Three, right? The three, like we
Vishnu,
can't,
right?
like the
Shivite
three
and
gods,
Shakti,
yeah,
right?
like gods, like god paths you could follow,
Yeah.
like Vishnu path,
Oh, yeah.
Shiva path, or Shakti path.
Nice. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Brahma's also path is there. Brahma
Yeah.
Sampradaya.
Yeah.
So
But not the same not the same level as the, like you're saying, like you can only get promoted up to the Brahma level, right?
yes, by our pious activities.
Yeah, by
But if in Brahma Sampradaya also, though it is coming from Jiva Tattva, because devotional service is at the spiritual level, not at the physical level, right?
yes.
So even that person is coming in the disciplic succession of Brahma, that person still can become qualified to be liberated.
Yeah, liberated, correct.
Yes. But of course, he cannot become Vishnu.
Yeah.
He cannot become Shiva.
Yeah.
He will remain as a Jiva Tattva.
But
in the
liberated,
spiritual
must
world.
be born again. Yeah.
In the spiritual world.
Yeah.
He will not come back to this material world.
Yeah.
This is what Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita. Once someone attains, then I guarantee that person will not fall again in this world. Because nobody would be so stupid to make the same mistake. Right? If we drive
Really?
carelessly, we need to,
Every day we are making the same stupid mistake.
as long as we have the material world, we do that. And now see, there also it is mentioned that when we go there, again, because if we have that kind of, again, that desire to misuse our will, Krishna will show us in flashback, so many lifetimes you already wasted and you came back here. Now you have to go back again. Then we say, no, we don't want to.
This is
Everything
even
is-
there's the stuti of the jiva in the womb that comes later as well, right?
Sorry, no?
When the jiva is in the womb, then that stuti comes later on as well, right?
Yeah. Everybody has gone through that, and again, because we forget that. We offer the sutis, when we in the womb for the mother, please, because we feel so uncomfortable. Please bring me out from there, and I promise you, I will never forget you. But once the air affects us, once we are out, Apana Vayu pushes us down, and the other Vayu outside affects us, everything is gone. See what is mentioned in the scriptures, the Ayurveda is part of it. Forgetfulness, memory loss is caused by Vata disorder. Air disorder. People become forgetful. Such people, they can memorize things also very easily, they can forget also very easily. Right? The analogy we give, example we give, when we throw some colors in the space, so the the space will look a bit colorful for some time, but the air will disperse it very quickly. But if the same color we mix into water or soil, it will stay there for long time. So to improve the memory, right? If somebody wants to increase the earth element in the body, but then memory will not become so sharp that you will start remembering the previous life.
I think the previous life should just be given to people who keep on asking this question: why me? Why me? Why me?
That's very common. That's human psychology. Human psychology. I have mentioned to you about 3 different aspects. I mentioned false ego. One is that also blaming. Because of mode of ignorance and mode of passion, we blame others. Our mode of goodness is not strong that we take responsibility of our own action. It's easy to put blame on somebody else. Then we don't feel so guilty. If we start thinking that somebody else is responsible, then we don't feel guilty. And if we don't feel guilty, there is no repentance, no regret, then where is the question of improvement? We sometimes repent also, we regret also, but that, the lifespan of repentance and regretfulness is very short. If it was very long, then there won't be repetition of the same mistake. If we really feel regretful, repent about our mistake, then there won't be any repetition. But it keeps on happening. But again, though it keeps on happening and all that, when because of repeated mistakes we come across any miserable situation, and if we sincerely pray to Krishna, he still protects us. He knows our past, of course, he knows the future, present, and he knows our future also. He knows that after I pull this person out from this miserable situation, back to square one, he will keep on repeating. But still, because he focuses on the present moment, he knows that in past also we made so many promises to him. Like he said, in the womb also we made a promise to him. But then these words of nature keep on influencing us. Our free will is very weak. Our willpower is very weak. That's why we become so powerless. So he focuses on, at this moment, this person needs me. And I'm Bhakta Vatsala. I'm the protector of devotees. So as my role, I have to pray, I have to protect him. And in future, if he doesn't follow, it's up to me. And this is called one of the qualities of Bhagavan. 6 qualities we talked about, 6 main features. Renunciation. He's not attached. He's not attached to the devotion of the devotees or temporary devotion of the devotees. Not attached. He values it, but if he sees, it's a temporary thing, not then he's not attached. But someone is very diligently, persistently performed, then Krishna becomes more attentive. Then he starts intervening in that person's life. We are not qualified that Krishna intervenes. Many times it happens with us, oh, this is Krishna's plan. It's not Krishna's plan. It's our karma. But yes, if we think in that way, it is Krishna's plan. It gives us strength to face the consequences of our bad karma. Right? So I stop here. If somebody wants to add something or ask something, any objection? So many things we can learn. Like here, main central point was how to ask questions from Guru. And first of all, who should be the Guru? We have to see the caliber of the person, and according to that, relevant questions we should ask. That also in a very submissive way. If you feel so that I'm qualified, then you please impart that knowledge, share with me. Right? Hare Krishna.